Primitive attachments. The polished obsidian walls of the Imperial Senate chamber gleamed under artificial starlight. A holographic Earth rotated slowly above the center dais. Blue oceans, green continents, and a shimmering web of orbital satellites blinking like nervous neurons. Around the circular table sat the high ministers of the Galactic Empire. Admirals, scholars, bioarchitects, and governors draped in flowing robes lined with circuitry. High Minister Tharn flicked a clawed finger, zooming in on a video still. It showed a human child hugging a shaggy creature, canine, tail wagging, tongue lolling out like a fool. Behold, he sneered, Earth's apex defense protocol. Dog. Laughter rippled across the chamber, mechanical and condescending. Even the sentient AI representative pulsed in amusement. Their emotional reliance on lower life forms is well documented, added biostrategist Cavier. Pets, creatures incapable of telepathic bonding, subsentient, unhygienic. Yet humans feed them, house them, even mourn them. Absurd, muttered Admiral Krell. On Threx, any creature lacking neural uplink compatibility is discarded at birth. They call it companionship, Cavier continued, scrolling through intercepted EarthNet content. Dogs catching frisbees, cats riding Roombas, parrots mimicking bad jokes. Laughter again, but one delegate did not join in. General Vrelin, Supreme Commander of Ground Conquest, stared at the footage with narrow eyes. Are we here to mock primates or plan conquest? He said coldly. Emotions aside, Earth is expanding. Frontier colonies, fusion weapons, adaptive AIs, they grow teeth. Tharn waved dismissively. Teeth can be broken. Besides, their behavior is irrational. They speak to animals, dress them, carry them into battle as if they were fellow soldiers. Perhaps, Vrelin said slowly, that irrationality is exactly why they win more than they should. Cavier raised a brow ridge. You suggest there is merit in bonding with lesser creatures? I suggest, Vrelin replied, we find out. The chamber grew still. 3 days later, Earth's Arctic Quadrant. Operation Iron Scorch commenced at 0300 local time. 3 Imperial drop cruisers entered Earth's upper atmosphere, deploying squadrons of automaton infantry and AI-helmed shock tanks onto the tundra outside a frontier colony called New Anchorage. Resistance was expected to be laughable. Instead, communications with forward units went dark within the first 20 minutes. Tanks were shredded from the inside. Scout drones returned nothing but static. Commanders reported ghostly figures in the snow and growling. Screams, blood, then silence. Back on Celestis Prime. What do you mean, eliminated? Tharn snapped. An entire forward platoon lost? To weather and wild beasts. General Vrelin stood before the Imperial War Council, arms behind his back, jaw set like stone. The chamber now displayed a new recording. A helmet cam, glitched and blood-spattered. The footage played, a storm of white, then shadows, movement fast as lightning. A bipedal figure in a dark, high-tech suit, long hair whipping in the wind, a glowing visor, and beside her, leaping from cover to cover, a blur of fangs and claws. The sound, snarls, gunfire, mechanical whirring, screaming. Then, clear as day, a small, heavily armored creature tore through a drone's chassis and dragged the pilot out, leaving trails of steam and blood in the snow. Pause, Vrelin ordered. The feed froze on a snarling animal bearing needle-like teeth. This, he said, is what they call a honey badger, indigenous to their home world. Normally weighs around 10 kilograms, solitary, untrainable. Except this one is not normal. He tapped a control pad. A dossier appeared, codename RIP, genetically modified, cybernetic implants, bioadaptive armor plating, neural pairing with human subject, Voss, Tara. Tharn leaned forward. A civilian? No, Vrelin corrected. A former Special Forces Huntress. Off-grid for 6 years. Known for operating in Arctic zones. She's turned that animal into a tactical partner. You mean a trained beast? No, Vrelin said again, voice low. I mean a soldier. The chamber was quiet. Then came the laughter again, more nervous this time. So one woman and a pest killed an entire platoon? Someone scoffed. Vrelin's eyes narrowed. They're not dead because of the woman, or the creature. They're dead because we underestimated something humans excel at: symbiosis. They don't fight alone, not even when they're outnumbered. They fight together. They trust. He turned off the feed. Deploy more forces. Set traps. I want them found. And when you do? Tharn asked, smirking. Vrelin's answer was simple. I want to see what else their pets can do. The Huntress emerges. The sky above New Anchorage burned amber where orbital flames licked the horizon. Ash and snow swirled together like confetti at a funeral. The once thriving Arctic colony was silent, its dome shattered, outposts gutted, and streets littered with twisted drone parts and scorched alloy. But far beyond the smoldering wreckage, deep within the frostbitten forest, a woman crouched in stillness. Her name was Tara Voss, and she was the last shadow the Empire would ever see coming. Her exosuit, matte black with hex steel plating and iridescent blue trim, blended into the terrain. The visor across her face shimmered with telemetry. Vital signs steady. Radar pinged light movement to the south. Imperial patrol, maybe 5 grunts and a crawler drone. No reinforcements yet. Good. She didn't speak. Instead, she reached to her right, tapping a small control node on her gauntlet. A low, growling purr answered from beneath the snow. The snowbank beside her exploded in a flurry of white as Rip emerged. Low to the ground, sleek with muscle and compact fury. No larger than a terrier, but twice as deadly. His back was lined with armored ridges. His mouth, when open, revealed reinforced titanium canines. Twin ocular implants glowed faint red. Tara gave a subtle hand signal. Rip nodded. They moved. 2 hours earlier. Tara had been cleaning her rifle when the sky tore open. She recognized the sound instantly. Imperial grav drive entry, not natural atmosphere. No colony was supposed to be on alert, but when a transmission crackled through her comms, "Help! Outpost breached, evac block, please." She stood up before it even finished. 6 years she'd spent off-grid. 6 years of ignoring Earth Command, ignoring politics, pretending she'd left all of that behind. But when civilians cried for help, that old fire lit up again. She cracked open her weapons locker, dusty but functional, pulled out her old armor, snug and familiar, slid the pulse rifle onto her back, checked her sidearm, and finally unsealed the vault where Rip slept in his stasis chamber. He blinked once when the cryo fog hissed away. Then, without a word, walked to her side. So people had dogs. Tara had Rip. Now, crouched above a frozen ridge, she watched the patrol wade through the snow, rifles sweeping left and right. They were cautious. Not cautious enough. She tapped twice on her thigh. Rip vanished into the storm. Seconds passed. Then came the shriek of metal and the sharp crunch of bone. One of the soldiers vanished in a blur. The rest turned to fire, too slow, too rigid. Tara dropped 2 with silent shots. The third screamed before Rip tore out his throat. The crawler drone turned to flee. Tara was already on top of it, sliding down the hill. She leapt, slammed a magnetic charge onto its sensor dome, and flipped back as it exploded in a flash of orange and oil. Silence returned. Rip padded back to her side, muzzle stained with frost and something darker. "Good boy," she whispered, stroking his armored head. He grunted, satisfied. Back at the colony ruins, Tara walked through the wreckage, pistol raised, Rip by her flank. The place had been beautiful once, domes covered in murals, wind turbines glittering with ice, kids sledding on polymer boards down white hills. Now, a frozen tomb. She found them near the comm tower. 7 survivors huddled in a collapsed tunnel. 3 wounded, 2 of them children. Their eyes widened at the sight of her. "Are you with Earth Command?" one asked. "No," Tara said simply. "But I heard the call." Their eyes drifted to Rip. A nurse instinctively pulled the children close. "He's safe," Tara added. "Unless you're wearing metal." Rip bared his teeth for emphasis, then gave a huff that almost sounded like amusement. The nurse blinked. He smiled. "Sort of," Tara said. "He likes kids." Moments later, hidden shelter. Tara guided the survivors to a hidden emergency shelter beneath the ice ridge. It was cold, cramped, but secure. "I'll draw fire from here," she said. "Wait 3 hours. Then head south. Rescue shuttles should be inbound if I get their attention." "You'll go alone?" Tara looked at Rip. "Hardly." Elsewhere, Imperial command tent. A junior officer burst into the command post. "Commander, Patrol 7's gone dark. No comms. No trackers." The commander, a scaled being with 6 eyes, turned from the tactical display. "Malfunction. Helmet footage loaded on a side monitor. Brief, blurry, terrifying. A woman. A black suit. A creature beside her, like a shadow come alive. One moment the troopers were standing. The next they were screaming, bleeding, gone." "Playback again," the commander said. Rip leapt from his snow, bit through alloy, ripped open a powered exosuit with his bare claws. The woman shot with military precision, moving in tandem with the beast. The commander stepped back. "That's not a pet. That's—" The junior officer finished the thought. "A predator. Fear in the Empire." The warcruiser Talon's reach hung like a silent god above Earth's stratosphere, its vast hull blotting out the stars. Inside its command deck, unease rippled like a virus. Holoscreens flickered with battlefield reports, frozen bodies, shredded armor, full squads offline. The phrase kept appearing in the logs, like a curse the soldiers didn't understand. Woman and beast. Commander Threx Vol stood at the head of the operations chamber, hands clenched behind his back. "Play it again." A nearby tech complied. The image came to life. Helmet cam. Night vision. Wind howling. Visibility poor. Then movement fast. A black figure darting through snow. A flicker of red eyes. A low growl. Screaming. Then silence. The footage ended with static. Vol turned to his officers. "That's the 3rd elite recon team in 24 hours. Gone. Not captured. Not wounded. Gone. They're calling her Ghost Huntress now." 1-8 muttered. "And the creature? Some say it's not real. Others say it can't be killed." Vol's jaw flexed. "I don't care what they say. I care about results. I want her neutralized. Deploy the Vorn-class hunters." Murmurs echoed through the chamber. The Vorn were cybernetic assassins, designed to eliminate psy-rogues, alpha predators, even feral AIs. Fearless. Fast. Merciless. Still, the chamber remained tense. One officer finally spoke. "Sir, permission to speak freely?" "Granted. She's using terrain against us." "Weather." Silence. "And the thing fights like it thinks. Not reacts, thinks." Vol's eyes narrowed. "You suggesting the animal is sentient?" "No, sir. I'm suggesting it's angry. And it remembers. That makes it worse." On the ground, 14 miles from Anchorage, Tara crouched beneath the curved hull of a ruined shuttle, lens flicking between infrared and motion scan. Rip sat beside her, nose twitching, his body unnaturally still. His fur bristled, even under armored plates. Something was coming. She knew the Empire would escalate. They always did. She'd seen it on Mars, on Titan. Every time humans pushed back harder than expected, the aliens deployed their monsters. Sure enough, the snow began to shift. 6 gleaming silhouettes emerged from the trees. Thin as skeletons, tall as towers, plated in glimmering black obsidian and bone-white cybernetics. The Vorn-class hunters. Each one moved like a ghost on ice, blades humming with plasma, rifles strapped to their backs like afterthoughts. Tara whispered, "Rip." He looked up at her. No growl, just a slow blink. Then he vanished into the shadows. The first Vorn reached her position, claws extended, movement too fast for any human eye to follow. Tara didn't try to outmatch it. She rolled left, fired an EMP bolt, then sprinted toward a collapsed antenna tower. The EMP slowed it, but only briefly. From the tree lean, a Vorn launched toward her. Too fast. She braced. But Rip struck first. He erupted from beneath the snow, clamping onto the Vorn's leg. Metal groaned. Rip spun, twisting, tearing its limb off at the joint. It fell. He leapt again, this time sinking claws into the side of its head. Sparks flew. The hunter convulsed, screaming in binary. Another Vorn moved in, silent, precise. Tara turned mid-stride, fired twice. One shot hit its eye sensor, blinding it. That was enough. Rip charged it from the side, pushing the thing off balance, then shoved its head into a jagged support beam. 3 seconds. 2 hunters down. For more to go, Tara activated a flare drone and tossed it skyward. Bright red light painted the battlefield. The Vorn paused, recalibrating optics. She used a moment. Tara sprinted toward the cache she'd planted earlier, a box of anti-armor grenades and arc traps. She grabbed 2, armed them, and flung one high. It detonated midair, raining micro-shrapnel laced with acid. The Vorn screeched, not pain, but damage protocols triggering. They staggered. Rip didn't wait. He tore into the closest one's midsection, ripping out wires and servo cores. Tara engaged the remaining 2 with a short burst from her plasma rifle. One went down. The other turned and ran. Ran. She blinked. They don't run. Rip growled, low and rumbling. He wanted to chase. She placed a hand on his back. No, let run. He obeyed. For now. Back on Talon's reach. The lone surviving Vorn limped into the ship's hangar, dragging itself by one shattered arm. Its other limbs were gone. Half its faceplate hung off like torn skin. Commander Vol rushed forward. What happened? What? The Vorn's remaining optics flashed. It spoke in a choked, mechanized whisper. The creature learns. Then it died. The chamber was silent. Admiral Vrelin, now present on Talon's reach, stepped forward. Do you see now? He said coldly. Vol turned. What is she? Vrelin didn't answer directly. He stared at Earth's horizon and murmured. She's not a soldier. She's a warning. Meanwhile, underground shelter. The survivors Tara had saved watched her return through the snow. Smoke on the horizon. Blood on her suit. Rip padding silently beside her. She didn't speak. She sat by the fire, checking her weapons, whispering softly as she cleaned Rip's armor. One of the children edged closer. Is his ear dog? Tara looked up, paused, and smiled. No, she said. He's my partner. Rip gave a small chuff, as if in agreement. And outside, in the dark, the Empire prepared for its final move. The Huntress and her war beast. The blizzard screamed across the Arctic flats like a banshee, blanketing the world in white and silence. In the distance, glowing faint through the snow, stood the Imperial Mobile Command Hub, a towering fortress of alloy and humming shields. Its spires stabbed into the clouds, and around it marched a perimeter of armored sentries and auto turrets. Inside, Admiral Vrelin watched the storm from the highest viewport. She's coming, he said. Commander Vol, still nursing bruises from the Vorn fiasco, scoffed. In this weather? With what army? Vrelin didn't turn. She doesn't need one. 2 kilometers out, in the white, Tara Voss crouched on a ridge, the howling wind battering her helmet. HUD flickered, tracking enemy patrols, shield fluctuations, and terrain hazards. Beside her, Rip lay motionless, as if carved from ice. Only the steady red glow of his ocular implants showed he was alive, calculating, ready. Tara exhaled slowly. This is it, she whispered. Rip's only reply was a low growl. She checked the charges on her pulse rifle, adjusted the blade tucked into her boot, and activated the signal jammer clipped to her belt. It pulsed once, cutting a cone of silence through the comms field. The storm was their cover. The cold was their ally. They moved. Inside the perimeter, auto turrets swiveled on motion cues. Drones scanned the snowdrifts. Soldiers, heavily armored, genetically engineered, and bored, stamped their feet in the cold. One raised his hand. Movement. His scanner glitched, blinked, went dead. He barely had time to curse before Rip burst from beneath his feet, jaws clamping onto his helmet, tearing it free. Panic erupted. Tara was a shadow among the chaos, sliding between structures, planting explosives, taking down soldiers with surgical shots to the back of the neck. Rip tore through them like a bladed storm, his armored body bouncing from wall to wall, using their own tech as weapons. He dragged one commander into a plasma barrier, watching as the body sizzled. Command hub, alert. Breach, screamed the comms officer. She's inside the compound. Alarm shrieked. Red lights bathed the room. Admiral Vrelin remained calm. Seal the interior levels. Activate all internal defenses. Commander Vol was less composed. She'll kill us all. She'll try, Vrelin said, stepping into his war armor. An obsidian exoframe twice his size, plated with ablative shields and powered by a singularity core. Twin blades mounted on his arms hummed to life. Ready my personal chamber, he ordered. She's earned a proper duel. The heart of the fortress. Tara carved her way through the inner halls. Explosions rocked the base, her timed charges at work. Turrets turned, but Rip was faster. He darted ahead, leaping off walls, slicing cameras and defense nodes with his claws. The final door stood ahead, sealed, reinforced. Tara slapped a thermal charge on the lock and stepped back. Boom! The door crashed open. Fire licked the walls. Steam hissed. And there, waiting inside the central command chamber, stood Vrelin in full battle gear, twice her height, weapons gleaming. You're persistent, human, he growled. Tara leveled her rifle. You're slow. Then they moved. The final fight. Vrelin lunged, blades slicing the air. Tara ducked, fired point-blank into his chest plate. Sparks. No damage. He slammed a fist down, cracking the floor where she had stood a heartbeat before. Rip launched from the side, claws aiming for Vrelin's visor, but was swatted mid-air, crashing into a console. Tame beast, Vrelin sneered. I've faced worse in my sleep. Rip coughed, shook himself, blood leaking from his flank. But he got up. He always got up. Tara rolled behind a pillar, reloaded, then vaulted over it, landing a shot under Vrelin's arm plating. He roared and swung wide. But he missed. Again. Because Tara wasn't fighting alone. Rip leapt again, this time aiming not to kill, but to distract. Vrelin caught him, slamming him into the ground. But Tara had already moved behind him, sliding beneath his legs, planting the core splitter grenade against his singularity core. Let's see your armor handle this. She kicked off and dove for Rip. Vrelin turned, too late. Boom! The explosion gutted the room. Lights shattered. Power flickered. When the smoke cleared, Vrelin's armor was a twisted wreck. He lay against a collapsed wall, breathing heavily, one arm gone. Tara stood over him, Rip beside her, battered but alive. Vrelin coughed. You're just one woman, one beast. Tara crouched, visor cracked, eyes burning. No, we're a pack. She pressed the last charge to his chest. I told you, he's not a pet. She walked out with Rip at her side as the final blast lit the sky behind them. Epilogue, EarthNet broadcast. Transmission intercepted. Galactic High Command internal memo. Subject, human companion species, reevaluation. Priority, red level. Notes, do not engage human entities accompanied by terrestrial-class war beasts. Avoid all contact with a subject known as Tara Voss. Her companion, codename Rip, is to be considered a Tier 1 threat. Addendum. Cease use of the term pet. Immediate disciplinary action for mockery. This is not humor. This is war.